in addition to the mechanics of how this instrument works, is the other aspect of an album. And an album, that word is a word that is used for an embodiment of a collection of music. So an album can be in CD form, tape form, or record form. And my albums, the approach to the album, the motivation is quite unique in itself. And so as the instrument is uniquely different, and so is my approach to the composition. Now, I have had no training. It's just something that came to me on my own. And it was a uniqueness in of its own, but it wasn't something I consciously thought of that I'm going to be different. It just was. It just came to me in such a way. So I wasn't thinking about doing this as much as I was trying to figure out how to accomplish what was in here. And one of the unique aspects of this concept was that all we have are moments of peace. And so the inspiration was for you. I was going to create hour-long moments. Most artists, they either have training of some kind, and so they learn to be proficient at the piano. And I don't consider myself a pianist. It's more of a constructor of these moments of peace. And this just happens to be the tools I used. And so the inspiration for a lot of pianists that I listen to is that element where they're trying to write a hit piece to get noticed. That's their inspiration. So when they approach an album, they'll compose a piece, and they'll feel really confident and good about that, which is perfect for them. And then they'll write another piece. But the other piece is a completely different style, because in that album, they like to show you what they've accomplished. There's nothing wrong with that. That has its own presentation, its own venue, its own listening audience. People like to hear what they have in their abilities. Moments of Peace and the CDs that I create, the uniqueness is that my motivation is about you. And so it is that when I compose a piece, is I'm paying attention, if you will, like an outline, and it has to stay within this parameters, a peaceful piece. And so it's become that people who like the peace, it's not so much the P-I-E-C-E of this album, it's the P-E-A-C-E of it. So I asked people, which piece did you like? And people consistently keep coming back going, I like it all. Then I know I've done my job. So when a piece comes to me, I'll record it, and then I put it on the shelf. And I'll listen to it for a couple of weeks. Then when no one's around, I put it on, and I just sit back and feel how it feels. The most important part is after it quits playing. And when it quits playing, I sit there and I just take in and pay attention to how it left me feeling. And that feeling is my next note for my next piece. P-E-A-C-E. When I have concluded and put an album together, then I pay attention to each one, how it left me feeling. So when the space between the songs on the albums, when people think there's nothing there, that place, that moment, that feeling, that's my next note. So I'm going to play a little bit of the ending on my Still in the Moment album. and I'll give you a demonstration. So Mabel's dance, I'm just going to play a little bit of the last part of Mabel's dance and let it conclude. And then you pay attention how it feels. And then you'll see what I mean. You'll experience it. So that gives you a little bit of an example, if you will, the formula. Now, you can see that the entire hour is what I'm paying attention to. So unlike other artists who are, so if you can imagine that you've got this beautiful flowing piece, so what would happen if you now heard me playing somewhere and you went, oh, I love that piece. So you buy the album. And you get home and you hear this. And you're going, yes. And then you're in your car or you're sitting in your living room and all of a sudden the next piece comes on. You're going, no, and you click through, and you're going, no, 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 and the next one goes. You're going, where's my moment of peace? And so it is that I love playing all different styles of music, and people keep coming and going, wow, I like that. But you see, it's about you, that when you get home and you put this on, that you have consistently this. So it is that the albums are consistently that I stay true to that for you. So that I just feel so good that when you get one of these albums and you put it on, and what has happened is that people come back to me and they go, I go, so what was your favorite piece? And they go, I loved the entire thing. And I swell up inside going, yes, I've done my job. And so people that have these albums, they love the entire album. They can't pick a favorite. They're just going, I love the whole thing. And so it is. It's not about me. And so it is that people that are having their lives are just all just tore up, and there's so much. And I love how many people come back to me and going, oh, it stilled my heart. It made me feel better. It gave me a moment of peace. And so it is that also in the construction of the entire album, there's also my concept that one critic said, just enough melody to guide you, but not enough to get in the way. So if you're busy on your computer and you need to get things done, you can put it in the background, and it's not trying to get in your face and go, hey, notice me. It is in the background. And yet, each piece has enough depth to it and has enough melody to it that if you so want to sit down and have a cup of coffee, some tea, or a milkshake, and you want to sit down and you want to enjoy the album, if you're driving the car, and you want music that's not just boring in the background, but each piece has enough depth to it and construction to it that you're going, I like that one. And so that is also the other aspect of my albums, is that I paid attention that each piece has a melody to it. So that at any given moment, whichever one you're listening to at the time, if you tune into the album and you want to enjoy it, you like that. So my pieces have melodies. They have direction. They have a beginning, they have a middle, and they have an end. The other aspect of this is that in your listening experience, so let's picture that I've taken you to a place, a cloud. I don't drop you, and I don't shock you. I keep you right there, but it would be boring if you just stayed right there. And so in my albums, I pay attention that as I come up with the next piece, as I take you a different direction, but it keeps you there consistently. So that each cloud just comes along, you step off onto it, it's another direction. For example, see, so I'm playing number 3, Inner Smile, and I start out the piece with just piano, and then I swell in the middle with the strings, and now I'm going to come out of that. So I've taken you piano, introduced, you're on that cloud, and then I fill it up, make it something, and then I pay attention to bring you back down. So I'm going to come at the latter part of In Her Smile on the Still in the Moment album, where and now the next piece. The Journey Home. And so each album has its unique imprint, if you will, different degrees of peace. And so in my composition, I pay attention from one album to the next. And so it is, Spirit Rising is one to drive with, and it's to lift your spirits. Spirit Rising. New Beginning is one that they use in the hospitals, and it helps people sleep because your day begins with the night before. And so every day is a new beginning. And so I comprise that album that's really will zap you and relax you. So the flavor of each hour of peace, depending on what it is that you need. So people have the full array of all the albums because depending on their day, what they need. And that's what's being really exploding and blowing up big, is people are starting to get that this approach is a unique approach, and it's for you. It's not about me. I just happen to be given the wonderful gift and the tools on how to bring this together. And so it is that my whole life and what I do, it's my mission statement to you that what my life is, that somehow will help you, assist you, and you finding a moment of peace. Thank you for your time.